Hey everyone, Susan Black here, and I have a question for you. How many of you have ever traveled before and been stuck on the side of the highway for some reason? Give me a number one below if you've ever had that happen to you. Whether you ran out of gas, whether you were having some sort of a car trouble, or if you had a flat tire or something like that. For those of you who were watching over the weekend, I was able to go on a women's retreat with our church, and it was wonderful. They had one last year as well, and I don't remember. I think it was closer to the time that Miss Ellie was born, and so of course I didn't want to go. I didn't want to be away from Ellie or Christine after she was just born. So anyhow, I was able to go this year, and it was such a wonderful trip. And it started out though with us being stuck on the side of I-65 for 2 hours. You know that stretch of the highway, from those of you that are from Alabama, on I-65 as you're heading down to the beach, there's an area that really is like a no man's land. There's nothing to be had. You've passed all of your big cities. You're just in the open stretch of the countryside. That was the point that we were at on the church bus, which is a 15-passenger bus, but it's more than just a van. It's bigger. It handles, I think, differently. I've never driven it, but I think it would handle much differently than just a regular vehicle or a van. And Lydia Locke, who's our assistant to the pastors and does our discipleship and our different family trips and that type of thing, she was our bus driver. We were going down I-65, and in Alabama, we are having a continual heat wave. It has been close to 100 degrees now for weeks. We haven't had any rain, and it is just unbearable. Well, it happened in the middle of the afternoon. The tire, one of the tires, at least it had 2 tires on the back, so gave us a lot more stability, I think. But one of the tires blew. And here we were, a bunch of women on this bus, and a tire blows. Talk about scary. Lydia did a fantastic job of keeping the vehicle under control and pulling it over safely to the side of the highway. But it's a scary thing. We had women on the bus that range probably from in their late 40s to 91. And it was 100 degrees outside, and we had to pull over to the side of the road. So it was a pretty scary experience. We had to call for assistance, and we got a hold of a local tire shop. The gentleman who answered the phone promised us that he could take care of us and everything would be great. Guess what? He didn't show up like he was supposed to. We were in a dangerous situation because people were not pulling over. Here we were, an extra large vehicle on the side of the road. We were as far off the highway as we could be, but it's an oversized vehicle really when you think about it. It has the large mirrors on the sides. People were going probably 80, 90 miles an hour right next to us, and the vehicle was shaking. And we had, like I said, 13 women on board this vehicle. We had the engine running. We had just gotten gas, so that was good. We had the engine running, but if you know anything about vehicles, if you don't keep your vehicle moving, the car or the vehicle is not going to be as cool as it is if it's just sitting on the side of the road. It was getting pretty hot. We had some people that were on the vehicle who did not look like they were going to be upright very long. They looked like they were going to pass out. It's kind of a scary situation. So one of the people on the bus went ahead and called 911 and explained to them we were in a dangerous situation. Here we were, 13 women on the side of the road, a couple of them that were probably getting ready to experience some sort of a heat stroke situation, and we needed help. And that's my recommendation to all of you. If a situation like that is going on, I wouldn't bother with calling for a local tire shop or something. You're in a dangerous situation. And when you do call 911 and you tell them what's happening, and you tell them you're in a dangerous situation, Alabama Department of Transportation comes out and helps you. The man that was supposed to bring us the tire, he ended up bringing a tire. But he didn't bring anything to actually change the tire, to do anything. ALDOT, Alabama Department of Transportation, contacted a tire company who brought the tire out, but they also brought the right equipment. They brought a vehicle that had hydraulic jacks and whatnot in it, and we were able to stay in the vehicle while they changed that tire and did what they needed to do. So it was a scary thing, and I'll get off my soapbox in a second, but my recommendation to all of you is when you see a vehicle on the side of the road, instead of going by and going, oh, those poor people, get over, move over. They're in a dangerous situation. We have lost a lot of state workers on the side of the road for people hitting them. So please get over. For those of us who were on that trip, it was scary. It was a scary 2 hours to be just sitting, feeling like you're just a sitting duck, waiting for something terrible to happen. But we were protected. We got going. We went on our trip, and it was amazing. We had 2 devotions a day, one in the morning and one in the evening. They were short devotions. They were times of scripture, reflection, sharing, and prayer. And I have been away before with, for those of you who know me, know my husband has a diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's disease. And it's important that I get away and I try to recharge myself. I try to get myself refreshed and renewed. But there was something different about this trip. And it's not always easy to get away. You know, I had to line things up. Our son Jonathan ended up coming over the weekend with his girlfriend Courtney, and they stayed with Pete and they hung out and they kept him occupied. Our neighbors had Pete over for dinner. They were checking out, you know, making sure everything was okay. So all those pieces were going into place. But it was something different about this trip. There's something about being with a group of Christian friends that really makes a difference. Everybody on this trip knew my story. They knew what was going on, but I was able to share things, and really they were able to build me up and to strengthen me. So I encourage all of you, if you have a friend that is struggling in some way, that is experiencing some sort of a health issue, a crisis in the family, anything like that, it's great to go out for lunch and have them have a time of just renewal with you. But if there's any way that you can encourage them to go away and you're able to stay behind and keep everything under control, I encourage you to do that. It was exactly what I needed. I needed that time of prayer and reflection, and I needed that time with strong Christian women. I came back renewed and refreshed. And because of everything that's going on with me, a lot of times I suffer from depression, and all I want to do is to crawl into bed. The first morning that we were there, we got up, we had devotion, and then a couple of the women asked me if I wanted to go for a walk with them. Well, keep in mind, it's like 100 degrees out. We're down at Dolphin Island, so it's a swamp. But I thought, yes, I want to go for a walk. I went into the room that I was staying in. It was nice and cool, and it was dark, and I looked at the bed. And I thought, oh, I would love to crawl back in that bed. And if I was at home, that's probably what I would do because of the depression. But I didn't this time. I went with them, I walked with them, and I felt wonderful. I did the same thing later that afternoon. We went to the beach. It was hot. I was not able to seek any shade. So another friend and I, Deborah, we walked. We walked the beach for an hour and a half. And you think I'd be exhausted, but I wasn't. I was refreshed and I was renewed. So if you get a chance to go on some sort of a Christian retreat, I highly encourage it. I highly encourage that you do that and that you're with a group of strong Christian people, because it really did make a huge difference to me. So I want you to know that I've come back renewed and refreshed, and I'm so thankful to my Christian friends for encouraging me to go, and for those that stayed behind to make it possible for me to be there. So until we meet again, remember to enjoy your journey.